So let's talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. Is it possible that a tiny, simple algae could help solve one of the biggest, most heartbreaking crises on the planet? Child malnutrition? Well, we're going to look at a clinical study that actually put that incredible idea to the test.
But first, before we can even talk about a solution, we have to get our heads around the sheer scale of the problem we're facing. And trust me, this isn't a small issue. It's a massive global health crisis.
Take a look at this number, just for a second. 3.5 million. It's just a huge figure, almost too big to really process. But what does it actually stand for? That's what it is. 3.5 million children, under the age of 5, lost to malnutrition every single year. To put that into perspective, that one single thing is responsible for about 60% of all childhood deaths in developing countries. It's just staggering.
Okay, now let's zoom in on the exact place where the study happens, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The situation there is it's devastating. Try to imagine this, a country where 80% of people are in extreme poverty, and an estimated 70% are malnourished. And of course, this hits the children the hardest. Almost half have their growth stunted, and 1 in every 5 children doesn't make it to their 5th birthday. That's the world these researchers were stepping into.
So, when you're facing a crisis that big, where do you even begin to look for an answer? Well, it turns out the solution might come from a pretty surprising place. Not some fancy lab, but from nature itself. So, let me introduce you to spirulina. This isn't some new high-tech invention. It's a totally natural blue-green algae. It just grows in certain lakes, and people have actually been eating it for centuries. It's been around for a long, long time.
So why all the excitement about this one little alga? Well, because it's an absolute nutritional powerhouse. It is just packed with everything a growing body needs. We're talking high-quality proteins, essential minerals like iron to fight off anemia, tons of vitamins, and the really crucial part, it's easy to digest. That's so important when you're dealing with a fragile, undernourished system. Okay, so it sounds amazing on paper, right? But the real question is, does it actually work in the field when it really counts? That's exactly what the researchers in the DRC wanted to find out. It was time to put spirulina to a serious scientific test. All right, so here's the setup. This study takes place at a nutritional center in a town called Kisanto. They gathered 50 children who were all undernourished, ranging from just 6 months old all the way up to 5 years. And this right here is the key to the whole experiment. They split the kids into 2 groups. You had the control group, 34 children, who got the standard nutritional diet they normally would. Then you had the intervention group, 16 kids who got that exact same diet, plus a small 10-gram dose of spirulina every day. That was the only difference. The entire study was riding on that one simple addition. And get this, they weren't planning on waiting around for years to see what happened. They were looking for rapid results. They took measurements on day 0, checked back in after just 15 days, and then did the final assessment after only 30 days. Just 1 month to see if this could make a life or death difference. So the big question is, what did they find? What happened in just 1 month? Well, let's just say the results were nothing short of incredible. Just look at this. It's not even close. This chart shows the average weight gain for the 2 groups. The control group, the ones on the standard diet, they gained about 0.05 kilograms. Okay, but the spirulina group? They gained an average of 1.17 kilograms. That is more than 20 times the weight gain, an absolutely mind-blowing difference. And it wasn't just about weight. At the very start of the study, every single child was anemic. This chart here shows the change in their hemoglobin levels. That's the stuff in your red blood cells that carries oxygen. You want that number to be higher. The control group barely budged, but the spirulina group saw their levels jump by 1.75, a huge step in beating back anemia.
Now, here's another really shocking number. When the study began, 64% of the children had something called edema. That's a really dangerous swelling you get from severe malnutrition.
And after just 30 days of getting that spirulina supplement, the number of kids with edema in that group plummeted from 64% all the way down to just 4%. That is a life-saving recovery in an incredibly short amount of time. And look, this part is crucial. These amazing results weren't just a fluke or some random coincidence. The improvements were so dramatic that they were statistically significant. All that means, in plain English, is that the science proves it. The spirulina was, without a doubt, the reason for this incredible turnaround. So, what does this all add up to?
What's the bottom line when you look at all this data? Let's get to the conclusion that the researchers themselves reached.
And you don't have to take my word for it. In their own words, the researchers said it plain and simple. The children who got the spirulina, their nutritional status improved quickly and significantly. There's no wiggle room there. It worked.
So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. A really simple, small change can have massive results. We are talking about just one spoonful, 10 grams of spirulina added to a child's food each day. And that one tiny thing led to rapid, life-changing improvements in their weight, their health, and their chance at survival.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really powerful question. Yeah, this was a small study in one country, but the promise it showed was just incredible. So could this humble natural algae really be one of the keys to fighting child malnutrition all over the world? Based on this evidence, that's a question we absolutely have to keep asking.